Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Happy Independence and good Monday evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Thanks so much for supporting your evening. Topping our news this night, the government to overturn a policy that once made owning specialty restaurants and associated businesses impossible for Bahamians. The announcement coming from Prime Minister Perry Christie today as he addressed the CEO Network's Ownership Summit. The Prime Minister pledged the government's commitment to putting systems in place so that ordinary Bahamians can begin owning pieces of the economy. Our Shanique Miller has tonight's top story.
Moving the Bahamas to a place where the economy is sustained by more than tourism and financial services. This is where the Christie administration wants to take the country. In fact, the Prime Minister plans to revisit a policy that not only begins the process, but gives Bahamians a chance to get a piece of the proverbial economic pie.
A couple of Greek restaurateurs spoke to me about their concern that the law had been amended to allow non-Bahamians to involve themselves in the nightclub and restaurant business. Before, they could do it with specialty restaurants, Chinese, etc., Italian, but generally that. And we've looked at it very, very carefully. And last week I received the amendment for consideration that we're going to revert back to the regime that reserves that for Bahamians.
Christie says it's the government's way of stepping in to ensure that Bahamians are empowered. But the Prime Minister noted that the journey to economic empowerment involves a national vision that he's prepared to see through.
We have put into our Charter for Governance a number of commitments. The first is to re-engineer the development bank. We have to grow the Bahamas. That the greatest challenge to the Bahamas is what the sociologists call the urban pull. People being pulled to the cities, particularly the case of New Providence, where they're looking for jobs. The reason why I tried to articulate a policy of anchor development was to ensure that we were able to have in these islands the basis of a new economy. And today, for example, it might happen in Anagua. Why shouldn't it happen in Anagua?
And while tourism and financial services make up a combined 65% of the GDP, Mr. Christie noted that the Bahamas is ripe with opportunities to bring real diversification to the economy.
You can't just be a banker, you just can't be an artisan, you just can't be a nurse or a doctor, you got to be something else. Yes, sir. So I therefore want to say that the government of the Bahamas, through the various financing entities, will be most open to people like yourselves, people in our country wanting to go into business, having a vision, listening to your vision, sharing it with you, and providing the wherewithal for that.
But Christie says before any of this can be realized, there is a hurdle that the country as a whole must get over, and that is our political differences, something he says too often stands as a roadblock.
Work, because it has to be work in progress, but to work towards having a country where our politics is defined in such a way that we continue to mature towards not allowing it to be an obstacle to progress, not allowing it to stand in the way of development, not allowing it to stand in the way of empowerment. Today in the Bahamas, to too great an extent, politics continues to hold the Bahamas back.
There are a number of investments on tap, like the one in Bimini. Mr. Christie urged those attending the CEO Network's Ownership Summit to begin thinking outside the box as well as beyond the borders of New Providence for opportunities that can lead to their individual economic independence. Shanique Miller, ZNS News.
In other news this Monday, the much-anticipated board appointments have been made official by the Cabinet Office, and tonight we have some of the key appointments for you. Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Bradley Roberts is now the chairman of the Water and Sewerage Corporation, with Audley Hanna serving as deputy. Heading the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation is Senator Alex Storr. The new chairman of the Gaming Board is Fort Charlotte Member of Parliament Dr. Andre Rollins. Appointed chairman of the Airport Authority is Anthony McKinney. The new chairman of the Broadcasting Corporation is Reverend Dr. William Thompson, with former general manager Louis Hanchel as deputy chair. Heading up the board at Bahamas Air will be Valentine Grimes. Senator Frank Smith is the new chairman of the Public Hospitals Authority. Senator Julian Gibson is Hotel Corporation chairman, and Marco City Grand Bahama MP Greg Moss will head the National Insurance Board. The new chairman of the Bahamas Development Bank is Calvin Knowles, and serving as deputy chairman is Fritz Stubbs. Among the other appointments are former member of Parliament Ron Pinder, who will head the Straw Market Authority, and former members of Parliament Algernon Allen and Cynthia Mother Pratt will co-chair the Urban Renewal Commission. Crossing over now to news from the courts, 39-year-old of East Street, Charles Babbs, appeared in the Nassau Street Magistrates Court today. He's accused of the July 6th murder of Kelsey Johnson. In court, Babbs was not required to enter a plea. However, a voluntary bill of indictment fast-tracking the case to the Supreme Court will be filed by the prosecution. Bail was denied and Babbs was remanded to prison. His case has been adjourned. We can also tell you that police charged 19-year-old Livingston Woodside and a 16-year-old male with the June 3rd murder of 47-year-old Owen Rose. Rose, a resident of Elizabeth Estates, was on Washington Street, that's off Cordo Avenue, when he was shot and killed. The court also charged Woodside, the 16-year-old male, and 34-year-old D'Angelo Knowles with conspiring to commit Rose's murder. Now, Woodside is also facing armed robbery and receiving charges. Court papers show that he stole a $4,800 Ford Ranger at gunpoint, $500 cash, and a cell phone at gunpoint. It's also alleged that he dishonestly received a truck. Now, a voluntary bill of indictment will be filed. Meantime, Woodside, the juvenile, and Knowles are being held without bail at Her Majesty's prisons. While the police force placing emphasis on retraining its officers, 19 sergeants completed 3 weeks of training at the Police Training College today. They learned more about their roles and were equipped with the necessary tools to effectively carry out their duties as middle managers. Addressing the group was Assistant Police Commissioner Hewlin Hanna. Mr. Hanna called on the sergeants to make ethical decisions while on duty. Meantime, the participants told us they learned much from the initiative and will ensure that they make a difference in their divisions. Now on to news from Independence, as just in a few hours, the country will usher in the 39th Independence anniversary. But for the residents of Millers Heights, independence came a bit early. This morning, the community and its leaders talked about what 39 years of independence meant to them on our 7:30 radio morning newscast on ZNS 1540. Now, following that, officers of the area led the community in a flag-raising ceremony. It all happened at the community's central meeting place, the basketball court. Many thought it was a great idea to assemble residents, community leaders, and the police together. Community leader Athma Bow and Inspector Bradley Pratt talked to us about the community's independence celebrations. The area's member of Parliament, Dr. Danny Johnson, was also a part of the independence celebrations.
We are celebrating 39 years. Try to stimulate the mindset to celebrate and to look forward to another year, to arrive at 40 years, and most certainly to invigorate our community.
Trying to engage our youth in positive activities, and what we are doing, we are partnering with the churches and businesses in this area to engage our youth in positive activities to keep them occupied.
We're very happy to be here in Carmichael today, just to say hi, to gather. They have some sauce on the park, some music, you know, the way people like to do it. And we get together and thank God for all the many blessings that we've received thus far, and to encourage others that things are getting better.
Well, residents across the island are assembling at Clifford Park, where Independence started 39 years ago for the annual Independence celebrations. Of course, you can watch the entire program right here on ZNS TV 13 after this newscast. But before that, our Keishla Adderley joins us live from Clifford Park for a preview. Good evening, Keishla.
Yeah, mama, you like this, mama?
Have that for you right now, but we'll try to see if we can get Keishla on Clifford Park to give us a preview of what's taking place there. Well, it's time for our first break, and coming up, children taking in music lessons at the Urban Renewal Summer Camp. That story and more when the Bahamas Tonight continues.